I'm going to start off this review by pointing out that I'm not 5, so I will not be able to give you the opinion of a 5-year-old. I think, however, a 5-year-old might enjoy this, and I'm not going to say that they won't. I I can't predict that for you. I'm an adult, so I can give you an adult perspective. And as far as parents sitting down to watch the children, I would leave the room and let the kids watch this one by themselves. Just going to go ahead and preemptively say that before we even get into the review for anybody who turns my reviews off after the first 30 seconds. I'm Mac from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of the godforsaken bullshit called Marmaduke. This unholy conception is on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Wow. I'm a blind film critic, so I don't know what the animation looks like, but I have heard some comments made about how it doesn't look like it's up to standard for Netflix, and I would believe that because I feel like they cut costs with the voice cast here. They didn't go full out like they usually do by roping in a lot of famous people. They went for Pete Davidson, J.K. Simmons, and David Koechner. I don't know. I know who he is, but I can't pronounce his name. That's the big three anchoring this film. Yep. So I guess they hoped everybody would show up because of the Marmaduke name, because, that's such like a current thing, really hip. It's really hip with the kids right now. They're really big into Marmaduke. You just see a lot of kids walking around with like Marmaduke shirts, I'm sure. I'm sure it's really big. I see like all these Marmaduke TV shows all over the place. If there was ever a franchise that shouldn't have aimed itself for the lowest common denominator, it was Marmaduke. Because this is a franchise where nostalgia buttons will hit the adults. And this film is not made for anybody above the age of 10. This film is fundamentally stupid in thousands of ways. And it's awful. It's an awful and terrible film. But you know what? I remember being a kid, and I remember watching some really crazy stuff. Some of it I've gone back and watched and been like, I used to like that. Some of it I go back and watch and I go, this is actually really pretty good. And I stand by it. And I'm like, I liked this. Some of it is like half and half. And I'm like, oh, I still like it. But wow, my taste in movies, right? So like I get different reactions. But yeah, there's some things that I've gone back and watched where I'm like, man, I can't even watch this anymore. So that's why I said, I don't know. Your 5-year-old might love the shit out of this film. It's totally possible. So why is this film so bad? First of all, I don't know why we hired Pete Davidson to voice Marmaduke. He sounds like he doesn't even want to voice Marmaduke. He sounds like he's being forced to voice Marmaduke. He's not even excited about the paycheck. It's not even a good voiceover performance from him. I would say that J.K. Simmons and David Koechner are both more invested in their characters, but Pete Davidson is just like, wow, I don't know what I got to do. I guess I can't believe I've done that. I don't know. It's just I have really bad voice work. And I love me some Pete Davidson. I thought he was great in The King of Staten Island. So I thought he had a bright future ahead of him. Then he's the voice of Marmaduke. This film is all over the place. I mean, there are things that I don't even understand why they happen. The plot of the film is fine, actually. Like, the fundamental core plot of the film is that Marmaduke is a dog that gets into trouble, and he's at this one party, and he gets into a lot of trouble, and it goes viral. And there's like this dog competition, and this one great dog trainer is like world renowned. He has like 6 championship titles, but he refuses to train a dog unless it's a challenge. So, so of course he chooses Marmaduke after the viral video, um, and decides to train him for this competition. J.K. Simmons voices the Zeus, who's like his rival in this competition thing, and David Koechner voices the dad of the human family that owns Marmaduke. I don't know who voiced the cat. I didn't want to look it up. The cat was so bad. King Tut or whatever his name was. Oh, that dude's voiceover work was terrible. You can't even. There's a Chihuahua in this film that I don't even know how I feel about it, because it, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be surprised. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about the fact that he doesn't have a Spanish accent. Like, if that's progressive, or because they went out of their way with the other dogs to give them all appropriate accents. They were obviously trying to do something by like having dogs represent sections of the world, but then they have a Chihuahua that's just some guy, just some dude. But like the British guy has a British accent, the French poodle has a French accent, and the problematic Asian Shih Tzu. Uh, wait for this one. Slightly offensive character that's been added to the film has an Asian accent. I should say. Aside from the fact that he can make force fields, and he just sort of appears out of nowhere and does this like weird sort of mystical thing, like it's I don't know. I'm sure people will watch this and their jaws will drop. There will be people who will be like, what? Why is this happening? I don't know why Marmaduke gets trained and they play that like Japanese like dojo music in the background. I don't think his trainer is racially specific in that way. It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why he's training in like Taekwondo. I don't know why Marmaduke is training in a martial art to compete in a dog competition. I just like the film. I can't really understand like who understands Marmaduke speaking and who can't when, because it sometimes feels like people can understand him and then other times he's clearly just barking. But he goes and trains, and he among his normal dog training, he's also training in martial arts, just because the film needs him to, I guess. I don't know. The film features a segment where Marmaduke literally traverses the world by himself, the whole world. He circumnavigates the world. It's brief, so it's like a montage of him traveling the world and going over like the Great Wall of China, and I don't know why. Basically, he's trying to impress his old trainer at that point in the film, and he thinks that will impress him because his trainer's like, I thought you were a champion. I was wrong. And so Marmaduke is like, I know what'll get him back. And then he like runs around the world. And then like the media covers it and they're like, a dog just traveled the world by himself. And I'm like, good. I'm glad we can all just agree on how absolutely ridiculous and nonsensical that was. Cool. I will say that there is a scene in the film that is, kids like this kind of stuff, but it's definitely something that would never have played out in a live action version of Marmaduke, at least not the way. This is something that they take full advantage of the animation when they do it. Marmaduke in a competition eats a little too much food and he really needs to poop. And for reasons I cannot understand, they've decided to actually make him so that after he ate the food, he physically, like, his body has physically changed form. So he, like, is dragging his body and he can't make it to the little bathroom area. Uh, and then the narration keeps letting you know that his butt is emitting like a green puff of gas out from it, like actually like a green cloud of gas. And so the potty field for the dogs is too far away, so he decides to go inside the trophy case. And it talks quite a lot about how the room fills with this green cloud, and everyone's reactions to it, and some characters like pass out and some vomit. A lady dies. It doesn't say that she dies, but it does say that a lady falls to the floor, unmoving, with her eyes wide open and her tongue hanging out. That's dead in cartoon language. So Marmaduke just straight up kills a lady because his fart from his poop smells so bad that it kills. I don't know, okay? I didn't write this film. Somebody wrote this film, okay? I'm just telling you. I'm here to tell you and warn adults before they sit down and they're like, I'm going to watch this with my kids. I'm telling you, this film is not made for anybody. There are films that are made for the whole family where the adults can get something out of it and the kids can get something out of it. There's a musical song in this. There's only one, and he just sings. I don't know why he sings. There's only one song in this piece of shit, and it's towards the beginning, and you're like, oh, so this is a musical, and they never sing again. So you're like, never mind. This isn't a musical, and the song was terrible. So I don't know why it ever existed in the first place. It's just relentlessly stupid. It is one of the worst films I've seen in quite some time. The last film I gave an F to was a film that I didn't believe should exist. So I just fundamentally disagreed with it on every level. That was When We Were Bullies. And when We Were Bullies. You can check out my review of that and all of the many reasons why I disagree with why that film even should exist, and why I gave an F to that film on principle alone. But Marmaduke worked really hard for it. So the audio description for the film, I will say, is actually great because, like I always say, you can check through all my reviews. Terrible films have great audio description. And this film has totally professional audio description, and that woman's voice is lovely. Your kids will enjoy her. She sounds like she's reading books to toddlers. It is the most enjoyable voice. And she goes throughout if you leave her on through the credits, Marmaduke is doing stupid shit throughout the credits, and he puts on costumes and stuff. So if you have blind kids, it'll talk about how Marmaduke is in a Darth Vader costume, and later on he's in a Spider-Man costume. I have no idea why, because Netflix doesn't own either of those properties, and it doesn't make any sense for Marmaduke to be wearing either of those costumes. But hey, you know what? Maybe your kids will like that. I don't know. I can't predict what your kids will like. You should know your kids. If you think your kids like a movie where a dog shits into a trophy and the smell causes everybody to run screaming from the building and also kills an old lady and some people vomit, and that feels like their kind of film, cool. Then do this film. But if not, I will say there's a scene where they think Marmaduke is dead. So if you have little ones, they might, for like 2 seconds, think that Marmaduke died. He's not dead, because obviously they want sequels, probably. I'm sure there was some reason behind that, because they probably could have killed him off and then we would have no more Marmaduke. And that would be the greatest thing that could have happened to this franchise, would be the death of Marmaduke. But I understand for like little kids, that would have been like highly traumatic to kill off. Marley and Me has probably just traumatized so many children over the years. But I don't know what to do. All I can say is, if you're an adult, if you're like even a teenager and you found me for some reason, just this film was not made for you. This is rated TV Y7. Just to give you an update on where the Marmaduke movie stands, they didn't even bother to submit it to the MPAA, and instead they rated it not in a way that would rate like a normal film. They rated it in a film that is rated for kids. So I feel weird even reviewing and or failing this film because I'm failing it from the perspective of an adult. However, I do frequently love animated films. I do frequently love films that are aimed directly at kids. This is just, it has so many problems with the plot, with the storyline, so many choices. I'm pretty certain that the cultural appropriation here with Asian culture is it's problematic at worst. At best, it's I don't want to call the film racist, but it's got some problems with how it portrays its Asian its Asian character. I should say Chinese, because they do actually put a Chinese flag when the Shih Tzu comes into the competition. They actually say he's from China, so I should say Chinese. So and then the announcer can't pronounce his name correctly, and it's a lot. Wouldn't recommend it for those reasons. It has one song in it for no apparent reason whatsoever. There's so many things. Anyway, I'm going around in circles here. So I already said I was going to give it a grade. So unsurprisingly, I'm giving Marmaduke an F. I thought the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, which was previously my lowest rated animated film of the year, I didn't think anything could go lower than that. And then I had to sit through Hotel Transylvania 4, which they couldn't even pay Adam Sandler and Kevin James to come back, so they had people instead attempt to sound like Adam Sandler and Kevin James. I thought those were going to be like the worst moments in animation for me this year. Nope, Marmaduke. Didn't see this one coming, and this is Netflix doesn't usually make animated films this bad, but this is quite the abomination. But hey, if it takes your kids off your hand for less than an hour and a half, this film does not run an hour and a half, because the credits has long credits. So this film really runs closer to an hour and 20. Just to give you a heads up, it'll say it's about an hour and a half long. Its credits are long. So it's closer to somewhere between an hour and 20, an hour and 25. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know. I'm reviewing a film made for little kids, and I just gave it an F and trashed it, but I said it going in. I said I'm just from the perspective of an adult, and that just is, I mean, there are other animated films I love, and I would stand up and I'd fight to my dying breath for some of them, but this is just not one of them. You can go to macthemovieguy.com for more reviews, and Audio Description Project will let you know what other films are audio described and what other kids' films are audio described, so you don't have to put your kids through Marmaduke. And that's about it. So this film was hot garbage. That is my official statement on Marmaduke. Why did we do this? All right. Hopefully there won't be any more films like this year.